My wife handed me divorce papers at her new law firm's grand opening, calling me her first project. I didn't say a word. I just smiled, turned, and walked away. Little did she know, I was also her biggest project and I was about to shut the whole thing down. The party was in full swing, champagne flowing, music buzzing. I stood in the corner of the glittering office space, a ghost at the feast. This was supposed to be a celebration of my wife, Amelia's dream come true, her very own law firm. I'd supported her through late nights studying, through law school debt, through the bar exam she failed twice. I believed in her when no one else did. Now she was surrounded by her new, sophisticated friends, laughing and toasting to her success. Our success, I had thought. I tried to join a conversation, but the whispers followed me. "That's him." A woman in a designer dress murmured to her friend. "The test-run husband." The friend smirked. "Poor guy. He paid for the education, and now she's ready to upgrade." The words were like tiny daggers, each one finding a home in my heart. I looked for Amelia, hoping to find some comfort in her eyes, some reassurance. I found her, all right. She was gliding towards me, a triumphant smile on her face, a stack of papers in her hand. "Darling," she said, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness, "I have a surprise for you." She fanned the papers out. "As the first official act of this firm, I'm filing for divorce. Consider yourself our inaugural case. Pro bono, of course." The crowd around us gasped, then erupted into quiet, cruel laughter. My world tilted. This woman, the one I'd given everything to, was using our life's end as a party trick. My hands trembled, but I forced them to be still. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I looked her straight in the eye, gave her a small, empty smile, and left. The laughter followed me out the door and into the cold night air. But what Amelia and her new friends didn't know was that my support for her dream wasn't just emotional. It was financial, very, very financial. If you enjoy emotional and dramatic revenge stories, please subscribe for more. I drove not home, but to my own office. The one I'd built from the ground up. The one that afforded us the life Amelia now took for granted. The one that made me the silent, anonymous majority investor in her shiny new law firm. It was a wedding gift, a secret I kept so she would always feel her success was her own. I sat at my desk, the city lights twinkling below, and made a single phone call. "Liquidate everything," I said. "All of it. Effective immediately." The person on the other end was silent for a moment, then simply said, "Consider it done." Back at the party, the first sign of trouble came from the catering manager. He discreetly approached Amelia, his face pale. "Ma'am, the payment for the event was just declined." "The corporate card is frozen." Amelia waved a dismissive hand. "Nonsense. Run it again." "It's a new account, probably just a glitch." But it wasn't a glitch. A few minutes later, one of her junior partners rushed over, phone pressed to his ear. "Amelia, there's a problem, a huge problem. Our operating accounts are empty. All of them." Panic began to ripple through the celebration. The music faltered and died. The caterers started packing up the food. Whispers of fraud and financial collapse replaced the earlier mockery. Amelia's face, once so smug and confident, was now a mask of confusion and terror. She frantically tried to call the bank, her new partners, anyone. But every call led to the same dead end. The funds were gone. The primary investor, a holding company they knew only by a generic name, had pulled every single cent. The building lease, the payroll for the next month, the lavish company retreat to Bali. It all vanished in an instant. The firm she had launched with my public humiliation was dead on arrival. It hadn't even survived its own opening night. I went home to our empty house, packed a bag, and turned off my phone. I didn't want to hear her frantic calls, her confused texts, her inevitable hollow apologies. The silence was my victory. I spent the next 2 days at a quiet cabin by a lake, fishing and thinking. I thought about the years we'd spent together, the good times and the bad. I thought about the moment I realized I loved her more than she loved me. And I thought about the cold, hard fact that the person I had built my world around saw me as nothing more than a stepping stone. It hurt, more than I could ever put into words, but for the first time in a long time, I also felt a sense of peace. The storm was over. On the third day, I returned to the city, I had meetings to attend, a new life to start. As I pulled up to my office building, I saw a figure huddled on the steps. It was Amelia. Her designer dress was wrinkled. Her perfect hair was a mess, and her face was stained with tears. She looked up as I approached, her eyes wide and desperate. She stumbled towards me, grabbing my arm. "You did this," she sobbed. "It was you."
The investor, it was you all along. I didn't deny it.
I just looked at her, my face unreadable. "Please," she begged, her voice cracking. "You have to help me. Everything is gone. My career, my reputation, it's all ruined. I'm sorry. I was a fool." I made a terrible, terrible mistake. I gently removed her hand from my arm. "Yes, you did," I said softly. "You made a choice, Amelia. You chose to build your dream on the wreckage of our life together. You chose to use my love as a punchline for your friends. This isn't my doing. This is the consequence of your actions." I started to walk past her, toward the doors of my building, toward my future. She called after me, her voice filled with a desperation I had never heard before. "Where are you going?" I paused, but I didn't turn around. "I'm going to work," I said, "to my inaugural case. My own divorce. Pro bono, of course." And then I walked inside, leaving her alone on the steps with the ruins of the empire she tried to build without me. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe for more Reddit-style revenge stories.